Hi everyone, Julia here recording this, December 23rd, 2022, one of the days where the sun stays still. Daylight time doesn't increase or decrease from previous day or the next day. And then we start getting longer days. So I was thinking how we don't celebrate enough, especially those of us who have come from that partying mentality, which was the wrong type of celebration when it's all about getting inebriated and all kinds of other acts and lack of discernment, decisions made. I used to say, even when I was drinking, at the very least, I would make the wrong decision to eat the wrong food because alcohol impairs your judgment big time. But anyway, yeah, we just need to celebrate more and get in our communities and embrace our differences and our strengths and encourage each other and assist each other when needed, and be willing to do our own introspection. So if someone is not pleased with the way we're doing things, we at least hear about it to see. Maybe it's just a projection of them onto you, but maybe it's not. So you always have to be open. None of us are perfect, and we all have room for improvement. But if we're all authentic and honest and committed to that self-awareness, and we find other people who are the same and live in community with, you have real harmony. And that's why in this intentional community, we want people who are doing shadow work or are planning to do shadow work, and willing to go in and face those hard fears and judgments and get rid of them. So I think that's crucial. And I think that's why a lot of communities don't work out, is because you have a lot of emotionally unhealed people that have all those negative judgments and fears about themselves that are really running the show, even though consciously, they want to be a certain way. And when you act a certain way, you're acting. There's a difference between acting and being. It can start with acting, but it needs to morph into being. And if it doesn't, then it's obvious and it's not authentic. And anyone who is authentic will pick up on that. And that's another great asset of doing emotional healing work and getting your frequency at that proper resonance, because then you can really tell when other people are off and when people are not being honest with you and trying to manipulate you. And you just get it. And we don't have to be around certain people. It is that time of year when a lot of us have to see family, or we think we have to. And that's what Cheryl and I are going to talk about Saturday. Tomorrow is, it's Monday. On Monday, the 26th, about family estrangement and how so many of us are in those situations. And she has ways that she used to remedy her issue with that. But she also points out sometimes you can't reach a remedy And then it's okay to separate yourself. And yeah, we are all on our own path, doing our own thing. And the best thing we can do is do our best and set that example. And people really notice. And if you lose your ego as much as possible and don't get offended when other people lash out at you or whatever, you're able to think it through, analyze it, and then respond. And man, that changes so many dynamics. So many violent occurrences happen because people don't see the other person's perspective, and they don't understand that the other person is also projecting. And if they do understand that, they just throw it in the person who's projecting face, what they're doing. And yeah, comes to that. So another thing that I've been dealing with is setting boundaries. And when you finally do set a boundary, a long-needed one, that is a moment to celebrate. It's very liberating. In my situation, I didn't realize how much being manipulated was affecting me and my resonance. And just, yeah. So, sometimes it's difficult for us people who are the fawners. You have fight, flight, fawn, or freeze as trauma responses, and those that are always trying to please and keep the peace. And there's a fine line there between that being the thing to do and that being too much, and just offering the taker the opportunity to take more and more and more and more. And yeah, you have to cut these takers off, because there is no end to their taking. There's no end to it unless the boundary is drawn. So, learning lessons all the time. And I really hope we get back to being a celebratory peoples, Like I said, the celebrations that people call celebrations now almost always have alcohol involved. And to me, that's the opposite of celebrating. That's just dulling things out and letting the alcohol spirits take over the vibe instead of our own vibes resonating together and creating an even bigger love bubble, so to speak. I don't want to sound like Michael Yacko, but or Jaco, whatever he goes by. Yeah, I just want us to celebrate more. I just see us singing and dancing, playing instruments, sitting around campfires, and not necessarily kumbaya. And I know, like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, that's some hippie bullshit, whatever. But you know what? I'm going to do it. So if you want to do hippie bullshit, if you want that to be your life, if you want to call it that, I don't call it that. I call it living in harmony the way we're supposed to live with others around that we resonate with and that encourage us and assist us when we need it, and we assist them when they need it, and just having a loving community where everyone strives to do their best and help each other. And yeah, I'm just so looking forward to the days ahead. And man, I think 2023 is going to be an epic year in so many ways. The paradigm is shifting, the energies are amped up. We're realizing our true powers of being creator beings. And the gig is up. We're on to it. Gnosis is off the chain now. Never in history have this many people had the knowledge that I and so many others are presenting. about us creating our own reality, and if you put it into practice, you'll see that it is the case. So yeah, it's time to own that and make this the best reality as possible as we enjoy the rest of this time here. That we get to use these avatars, which is a real privilege. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Remember to always focus on what you want. Help others if you can. And I will talk to you next time. Ciao, ciao.